You've made it past 60 and you've earned every beautiful, radiant moment of it, but lately you've looked in the mirror and wondered, why does my hair feel like it's wearing me instead of the other way around? If that thought has ever crossed your mind, this is the video you've been waiting for. Today we're going to discover 3 short haircuts that naturally lift and brighten your features without fuss or drama. But that's not all you're going to discover, because we'll be going beyond the usual hairstyle chatter. You'll also discover simple styling strategies that make mornings easier and cheekbones sharper, color choices that reflect light and elevate your whole look, whether you're embracing silver or not. What to do if you love longer hair and want it to work with your changing features. But that's not all. You'll also meet real women who made a few bold snips and found something unexpected in the mirror. This isn't about looking younger, it's about looking awake, intentional, and most importantly, like yourself. So if you're ready to feel fresh, confident, and more visible again, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and stay with me. There's one story I want you to hear before we begin. It starts with Linda. Before we get into her story, I'd love to know, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments. This channel has become a place where women from all over the world come together, and it's incredible to see how shared experiences connect us, no matter where we live or what language our mirrors speak. So go ahead and say hello below. You never know who's watching from right around the corner. Now let's continue. Linda was 63, newly retired, and surrounded by what should have been peace and freedom. But one quiet morning, standing in front of her mirror with the steam still rising from her tea, Linda noticed something unsettling. Her reflection looked familiar, yes, but somehow not quite current. Her hair, long and gentle, parted the same way it had been for over 20 years, didn't reflect how she felt inside. There was a sharpness in her thoughts, a clarity in her voice, a liveliness in her conversations, but her hair was still telling an old story. Maybe you've felt that too. That tug of war between wanting a change and fearing that any change might draw the wrong kind of attention, that going shorter might mean looking older, or worse, disappearing altogether. But Linda was tired of styling the same strands that had outgrown her season. So she picked up the phone. Not out of boldness, out of quiet clarity. She booked a cut with a stylist she'd never met, and said the words that signal you're ready for something new, even if you're not sure what. Just do what you think works best. At the salon, the mirror looked no different at first. The cape was familiar, the chair was cool, but as the scissors moved, something shifted. With every trim, Linda's hair lost weight, and her spirit gained it. Her jawline appeared more defined, her eyes lifted, her smile softened, but it stayed. When she saw herself turned to face the final reveal, she didn't gasp, she exhaled. It wasn't about looking younger, it was about looking here, now, present, not trying, just being. And she walked out feeling like her reflection had finally caught up to the woman inside, because sometimes a simple haircut is more than style, it's permission. And if you've been waiting for that permission, to try something different, to feel seen again, you're not alone. You're in good company here. Now let's talk about the one outdated belief that keeps most women from even considering that kind of change, and why it's time we let it go. There's a quiet myth that's followed women for decades. It whispers from magazine covers, old beauty columns, and even well-meaning friends, and it goes like this. If you want to look youthful, keep your hair long. But let's pause right there. The idea that more length automatically means more beauty, it's not just outdated, it's working against you. Here's the truth. After 60, it's not about how much hair you have. It's about how that hair moves with your features, your bone structure, your natural texture. The most flattering haircut isn't about hanging on to the past. It's about framing the present. Hair density naturally shifts over time. The texture may change, sometimes becoming finer or more delicate. The jawline softens, the cheeks may lose a little volume. That doesn't mean you lose your presence, it means the map has changed. And your style should evolve with it. When you understand that, everything opens up. You stop chasing length as a safety net and start choosing shape and movement that actually lift your features. Think of your haircut like the frame around a beautiful painting. A well-chosen frame enhances every detail. It draws the eye upward, highlights contrast, gives balance. But the wrong one? It dulls the edges, weighs everything down, and distracts from the art itself. You are the art, and your haircut should lift that image, not hide it. There's no rule that says short hair is required after a certain age. But holding on to length for the sake of an old idea? That's a rule worth breaking. What matters now is intention, structure that complements your face, shape that brings light to your eyes, and a cut that feels like a reflection of where you are, not where you were. And when you find that balance, it doesn't make you look younger, it makes you look right. Coming up next, I'll walk you through 3 smart, beautifully simple short haircuts that do exactly that, quietly lifting, subtly brightening, and giving you back the spotlight. Let's get into it. Let's dive into the good part, the cuts that do the heavy lifting so you don't have to. These aren't trend pieces or dramatic overhauls. They're timeless, strategic, and designed to work with your features, not against them. We're starting with 3 cuts that top every stylist list for women over 60, not because they're flashy, but because they're smart. Each one offers structure, lift, and a kind of quiet confidence that speaks before you do. Let's start with the cut that surprises most women the first time they try it. Number 1, the soft pixie. Elaine had never gone short, not once. She used to say her long hair was her signature, until she realized it was also her camouflage. After a tough season, she sat in her stylist's chair and said, "I don't want to hide behind it anymore." What followed was a soft pixie cut, slightly longer on top, with gentle texture through the crown. No harsh lines, no spiky layers, just softness, lifted in the right places. When she looked in the mirror, her jawline stood out, her eyes looked brighter, even her earrings made more sense. This cut is perfect if your hair is starting to thin or feel flat. It doesn't fight your texture, it uses it. A root-lifting mousse at the crown, a little finger tousling while it's damp, and that's it. You don't need heat tools or 20 minutes in front of the mirror. The shape does the work. Celebrity stylist Nina Hartwell says, "It's the #1 cut I recommend for elegance without effort, especially for women who want presence without pretending. It's also a graceful entry point for anyone curious about going shorter but nervous about going too far." Now, if a pixie feels a step too bold, there's another classic that's making a quiet comeback for all the right reasons. Number 2, the modern bob with a tapered nape. Margaret was a lifelong bob skeptic. She associated the look with PTA meetings and practical shoes. But one humid summer day, her hair gave up flattened, frizzed, and defeated. She walked into the salon and said, "Just give me something that behaves." What she got was a chin-length bob with a tapered nape. Subtle, angled just enough to define the neckline and create lift at the back. This cut has structure without stiffness. It hugs the jaw, gives a soft curve to the face, and instantly sharpens your silhouette. And here's the best part. It grows out beautifully. No awkward in-between stage, just a cut that settles in as it softens. Use a touch of texturizing cream on damp hair, angle your blow-dry so the front curves inward. That's all it takes. The clean shape handles the rest. Color-wise, this bob loves light. Icy or smoky highlights bring depth and dimension, especially on silver or salt and pepper hair. The cut becomes a frame. The color becomes the light within it. It's a favorite for women who want to feel polished but never overdone. And finally, for the woman who's not ready for short but knows something needs to change, there's a cut that sits right in the sweet spot. Number 3, the collarbone crop. Joanne used to cancel hair appointments because she didn't know what to ask for. Short felt too sharp, long felt tired, she said, so she stayed in the middle, until her granddaughter showed her a photo on Pinterest that changed everything. What she saw was the collarbone crop. Not quite short, not quite long, just enough length to tuck, flip, clip, or twist. Just enough shape to lift the face and keep it off the shoulder. This cut works because it creates vertical space. It elongates the neck, defines the collarbone, and gives bounce without bulk. It's light, especially at the ends, which helps fight the drag that longer cuts can create. Styling is flexible wave spray and air dry for softness, or a quick flat iron curve for polish. You can tie it back for gardening or twist it up for dinner. It adapts to your day, not the other way around. And for women who travel, babysit, volunteer, or simply live a full life, this cut keeps up. Each of these cuts has something in common. They don't chase youth, they bring focus to what's already there: your eyes, your smile, your strength. Coming up next, we're talking about something just as important: what to do when you don't want to go short at all, because yes, long hair can still work after 60, and I'll show you how to make it flatter, not fight your features. Before we move on, I'd love to know, out of the 3 styles we just covered, which one speaks to you the most? Is it the soft pixie that says effortless and elegant, the modern bob with that sculpted neck-lifting edge, or the collarbone crop that gives you options without the extra work? Drop your favorite in the comments. I read every single one, and your pick might just inspire someone else to try something new. And if this video is already giving you ideas, tap that like button so more women can find it. Subscribe if you haven't yet, because we're just getting started, and what's coming next will help you wear your longer hair with more lift, more shape, and less stress. Let's keep going. Let's talk about something that doesn't get said enough. You don't have to cut your hair short just because you've reached a certain age. If you love your long hair, if it makes you feel feminine, expressive, or simply you, then keep it. But let's make sure it's working for you, not weighing you down. The key to keeping long hair after 60 isn't just about having length, it's about creating shape, lift, and movement. Hair tends to change over time. It might lose some volume at the crown or start feeling a bit heavier toward the ends. If you leave it all one length, it can start to pull your features downward. That's where a few thoughtful changes can make all the difference. One of the smartest choices? Face framing layers. These soft pieces around your cheekbones and jaw can bring instant lift and brightness to your face without losing the length in the back. They draw attention upward and give the illusion of structure even on softer features. Another great option is the U-shaped cut. It's subtle, gently curved at the bottom, and avoids that blocky drag-down effect that straight-us Ross lengths can cause. It keeps the hair looking full but still has movement. And if you're looking for a change without going too far, consider curtain bangs. They open up the face, highlight the eyes, and work beautifully with longer lengths. Bonus, they're low commitment and easy to grow out if you ever change your mind. Now, let's talk styling. To keep long hair looking lifted, not flat, blow dry your roots with your head upside down for the first few seconds. Then lift the hair at the crown with a round brush for volume. A light mist of dry shampoo at the roots can also add body, yes, even on freshly washed hair. As one seasoned stylist once put it, long hair can be graceful, but it needs shape, not length for length's sake. So no, you don't have to chop it all off. But if you love your length, give it the structure it deserves. That way, it supports your face instead of hiding it. Next up, let's look at something most women overlook, but it might be the easiest trick of all. I'm talking about the right color, not for hiding anything, but for lifting everything. Here's something worth saying out loud. You don't have to chase full coverage to feel radiant. For years, women were told that the only way to deal with changing hair color was to hide it. Cover every strand, fight the gray, keep coloring until the maintenance outpaced the joy. But that idea? It's fading fast. Because more and more women are discovering something better. Not color that covers, but color that lifts. Let's talk about a few modern options that do just that, and they don't come with constant touch-ups or heavy upkeep. First, there's silver blending. Instead of covering grays, stylists use lowlights or soft ash tones to merge your natural silver with intentional color. The result? A graceful, dimensional look that feels polished without trying too hard. It doesn't hide your age, it highlights your glow. Then there's root smudging. This is a technique where the roots are softened with a slightly darker shade that melts into lighter tones below. It creates a natural transition, reduces harsh grow out lines, and brings attention up toward the face, where the light hits best. And if you're not ready for anything dramatic, consider a gloss treatment. It's clear or tinted, adds shine, smooths the surface, and brings out depth in your existing shade. Think of it like adding a filter, not to change what's there, but to bring out its best light. As one top stylist put it, soft contrast adds glow to the face without the upkeep of full color. And that's the shift. The focus is no longer on hiding age, it's on choosing tones that light you up. that reflect back your energy, your clarity, your presence. Because when the color complements your skin, your eyes, and your tone, something subtle but powerful happens. You don't just look refreshed, you feel brighter. Next, we're going to look at how to tie it all together, especially if you wear glasses, love your earrings, or want your hairstyle to fit the little details that matter most. Let's go there now. Your haircut isn't just about hair, it's about how everything comes together. Your glasses, your earrings, your neckline, even how your hair moves when you smile. Let's start with glasses. Whether you wear bold frames or something more subtle, your hairstyle should frame, not fight. Your face. The wrong cut can crowd your features or compete with your frames. The right one? It creates balance. If you wear larger or colorful frames, try a cut that gives space around the temples and cheekbones. Ear-length cuts with gentle angles work beautifully. They let your frame shine while keeping the attention where it belongs, on your expression. Now, if you love a good statement earring, the goal is not to hide them, but to frame them. A soft pixie or a layered bob tucked behind the ear gives just enough reveal. It says, "I wear these on purpose," not, "They got lost in the layers." And for those wearing hearing aids, you'll be glad to know there are stylish cuts that look fantastic and stay functional. Something neat around the ear, like a textured crop or an angled bob, keeps things discreet without sacrificing personality. You get comfort and style. And here's a tip most women don't hear until it's too late. Wear your glasses during your haircut. Seriously. Frames change the way your face reads. A good stylist will factor that in, making sure your layers sit just right, that nothing clashes with your lenses, and that your cut enhances your natural symmetry. Because when your haircut complements the things you wear every day, everything feels intentional, pulled together, confident. Let me tell you about 3 women who didn't just change their hair, they changed how they showed up in the world. Stories that just might sound a little like yours. First, meet Carol. She was 68 and had been single for a while, happily so, mostly. But when her son joked that she should try online dating, she laughed it off. Still, later that week she found herself staring at her reflection, wondering when her hair had stopped feeling like hers. She went for a soft pixie, the kind that lifts at the crown and gives just enough texture to bring the eyes forward. "I didn't do it for a date," she said. "I did it because I was tired of fading into the background." But funny thing, confidence has a way of attracting attention. A few weeks later, she sent her first message. A few months after that, let's just say she's not laughing off the idea anymore. Then there's Rosa. At 63, she'd been coloring her hair for nearly 2 decades. Every few weeks, same routine, same box, same chase. But during lockdown, when the salons closed, her silver started coming in, and she noticed something she hadn't expected. It looked good. When the world reopened, she asked for a clean silver bob, blunt at the chin, smooth at the ends, with a subtle gradient that blended the last of her dyed hair with her new natural tones. "I didn't want to look younger," she told her stylist. "I wanted to look like me again, just sharper." Now, people stop her in coffee shops to ask who does her color, and she hasn't touched a dye bottle since. And finally, there's Janine. She'd recently retired from a long career and wasn't quite sure what came next. A neighbor invited her to help with a local literacy program. "You'd be great," they said. Janine wasn't so sure, but she took a leap with her time and with her look. She walked into the salon and asked for a subtle shag, light layering, soft movement, just enough edge to feel new. "It was the first time I'd made a change just for me in years," she said. That same week, she started volunteering. 6 months later, she was leading the program. Turns out, when you show up as yourself, people take notice. Confidence doesn't always need a grand entrance. Sometimes it starts with scissors, a mirror, and one small step toward feeling seen again. One day you might walk into a salon asking for a trim, but sometimes you walk out with something else entirely, a new energy, a different way of carrying yourself, or even the spark to try something you've been putting off. Like Sandra, who hadn't traveled alone in years. She booked a short cruise just to prove to herself she could. The pixie cut came first, then the suitcase. She stood at the railing on day 2, hair dancing in the breeze, and thought, "Why did I wait so long to do this?" Or Lynn, who stopped attending her book club because, in her words, I felt invisible. One subtle shag later, soft volume, shape at the crown, a few layers to frame her face, and she walked back in with a story to tell, even before opening a page. And there's Maria. She signed up for a gentle movement class at her local community center. She didn't do it to get fit. She did it because, for the first time in a long while, she looked in the mirror and liked what she saw. That little boost gave her the nudge to say yes. See, the right haircut doesn't just change your profile, it changes your momentum. It reminds you that you're allowed to take up space, to be seen, to feel excited about what's next. And speaking of next, let's take a fun break before we wrap up. I've got a quick question for you, and I want to hear your answer loud and clear. Let's make this fun for a second. What's the worst haircut you ever got? You know the one. The chop you regretted before you even left the chair. Maybe it was too short, too puffy, or maybe it just looked better on someone else's head. Drop it in the comments below, and hey, if this video is helping you rethink your own look, send it to a friend who could use a little boost too. Text it, share it in your group chat, post it in your women's circle. You never know who needs that quiet nudge to feel like herself again. Now, stay with me. We've got one last piece to cover, and it's the part that brings all of this full circle. Here's the truth most people won't say out loud. You're not chasing youth. You're claiming clarity. At this stage, style isn't about trends. It's about feeling at home in your skin. It's about stepping into the room, whether it's a family dinner, a gallery opening, or your favorite cafe, and knowing you don't need to explain yourself to anyone. So if your hair doesn't reflect who you are anymore, let it go. Not because you're trying to look younger, but because you've grown into someone even better. Be bold, be simple, be you, with a cut that works now for your life, your rhythm, your confidence. You don't need permission to feel beautiful. You don't need to justify soft waves, silver streaks, or a fresh new shape. You just need to decide. It's your time. Be you. Be unapologetically the best version of you. And if you're ready, your reflection will be too. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.